We're going to read Diary of a Wimpy Kid. We're on page 180. On the way to the campground, the sky got dark, and then it turned into rain. I wasn't at all concerned because of our tent. It is waterproof, and Mom picked... Hey, stop! Sorry, I have a puppy trying to help me. Because the tent wasn't waterproof, and Mom packed ponchos for everybody. But by the time we got to the campsite, it was 6 inches underwater. I think I read this. Maybe I didn't. Okay. We were pretty far from home, and Dad decided we should just find a place to stay for the night. I did read this. Okay, so let's go on to page 182. That's where we need to be. Excuse me. I had to see for myself, so I moved him out of the way. Oh, it's because Holly Hills was down the hill, or down the hallway. That's why. And that's the girl he likes. All right. Looked out of a peephole. The hallway was completely empty. And before I realized it was a trick, Roderick gave me a big shove, and I fell out of the door. Then it got worse. Roderick locked the door behind, and I was stuck in the hallway wearing nothing but my whitey tighties. I pounded on the door, but Roderick wouldn't let me back in the room. I was making a racket, and I didn't realize people in the rooms near were gonna start opening their doors to find that I was, or what was going on. So I ran down the corner myself. I was embarrassed of anyone seeing me. I spent about 15 minutes sneaking through the hallways, hiding every time I heard voices. I was gonna go back to our room and beg Roderick to let me back in, but then I realized I didn't even have our room number, and all the doors looked the exact same to me. That's a bad situation. I couldn't exactly go down to the front desk either. The only option I really had was to try to find my dad. When I remembered that Dad is a junk food addict, I knew that he would turn up at the vending machines, and so that's where I camped out. I wedged myself between the soda machines and the candy and waited. And I had to wait a really long time, but Dad finally did show up. You know what, though? After seeing the look on Dad's face, I kind of wish that I would have just sucked it up and went to the front desk instead. Well, after our camp trip, I'm pretty sure that there is no chance that I can convince Dad to change his mind about Sprague Union. So at that point, I'm not even going to bother trying. I just realized that about only 3 more weeks left before I get shipped out. So I figured this is my last chance to make a play for Holly Hills. If I'm lucky, maybe I can get some good memories and memories with me for military academy and a good summer, so it wouldn't be so bad. I've been working up the nerve to talk to Holly for a really long time, and I decided that it was now or never. Let's see. Okay. When we went to church today, I tried making sure that we sat right near Holly's family, but we ended up in the rows in front of them, which was, I guess, close enough. And during part of which everybody shakes their hands with another, and I made my move. The hands shaking thing was really just a step into our 2-part plan, which was the part where we would come together at night. My next step was to call Holly on the phone. using the handshaking thing was just a conversation starter. Hi, Holly. This is Greg Heffaleffy. You might remember me as from a very special Peace Be With You. She blushes. At dinner tonight, I told everyone that I needed to make a very important phone call and everyone should stay off the phone. But I guess Roderick must have figured out I was going to call a girl because he took the handset and hid them. That meant that there was only two ways to make a call. There was a speakerphone in the kitchen, but there was no chance of that happening. I told Mom and Roderick Roderick took all the phones. She made him return them to where they belonged. Eventually, Roderick went down to the basement. Later on, I snuck down to Mom and Dad's room and made a call. I turned off all the lights, and Roderick wouldn't know I was even there. I hid under the blanket, and then I waited for about 20 minutes to make sure that he didn't follow me. Before I had the chance to dial Holly's number, somebody walked into the room and turned on the light. I thought for sure it was Roderick, but no, it was Dad. I decided to stay perfectly still and let Dad do whatever he needed to leave. I should have just uncovered myself the second Dad walked into the room because now I couldn't get up and walk out. I'd give him a heart attack, so I decided to sneak out of the room real slowly. And about an inch a second, I figured it would take me about a half an hour to make it all the way out of the room, but there he would still be every time I called Holly after that. I was only about 5 feet from the bedroom door when my phone had rang and scared the living daylights out of me. Scream, scream, ring, ah! I think Dad did almost have a heart attack. Once he recovered, he didn't look happy to see me. Dad made me get out of his room and then he slammed the door. I'm sure this episode didn't help my standing with Dad, but I guess at this point, it's probably too late anyways. Today, I already have passed since I shook hands with Holly, and I didn't want any more time to go by before I spoke to her again. Luckily, Dad and Roderick weren't home tonight, so I could make my phone call without them being bothered. I practiced what I was going to say a million times, and I finally worked up the courage to make the call. I dialed Holly's number, and the very first time it rang, but right then, Mom picked up the phone downstairs. Mom has this really bad habit of dialing and without checking to see if somebody else is using the phone, and that's what she did tonight. I tried to stop her, but there was no use. The phone kept ringing to the Hills house, and someone picked up. It was Holly's mother, and it was really confusing. She really didn't dial Holly's number at the first place. I just held my breath and waited for it to all be over. Hello? Hello? Who's this? I took Mom and Mrs. Hill a minute to figure out who was on the other end of the line, but once they did, they just started chatting like nothing strange happened at all. They got into a long conversation about the PDA and the fundraising committee and all that stuff like that. I couldn't really hang up because Mom would hear the click and knew that somebody was on the other end. Eventually, the conversation between Mom and Mrs. Hills finally turned to me. Called his brother Ploppy. At that point, I just put the phone down and went to bed. I figured the phone call between Holly and me isn't meant to be, and so I am officially giving up. Friday, today at school, I overheard Holly Hills and a couple of her friends that they were going to meet up at the roller skating rink tonight, and the light bulb went on over my head. After school, I asked Mom if she would take me to the roll around tonight, and she said yes, but I have to get a ride home from someone else's parents. So I invited Rolly along. As soon as Rolly showed up at my front door, I knew that I had made the mistake of giving him the invite. Rolly had his hair teased up, and he was dressed in his favorite singer, Joshy. And I think Rolly might have even been wearing sparkly lip gloss, but I can't say for sure. I can't stop worrying about the way Rolly looked because on my I have my own problems. Earlier, I had lost one of my contact lenses, and this meant that I would have to have backup lenses, and those things are about 3 inches thick, and they look ridiculous. If I'm not wearing my contact lenses or glasses, I'm blind as a bat. I guess I should feel lucky though. I wasn't alive during the caveman times because I wouldn't have been able to hunt or do anything useful. I'm sure tribe mates would have ditched me for the first chance they got. Who, is this where you guys saw that albino woolly mammoth? As a runaway. Alright, we are going to stop there on page 196. If you like my channel, please like and subscribe.